Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Mafex Terminator 2 Judgement Day T-800. This is the good T-800 from the second Terminator film, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I pre-ordered this thing from AmiAmi.com, and it finally arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, Mafex. This is the 199th figure in the Mafex line. Terminator 2 Judgement Day T-800. Here he is in the package. Looks like we have a ton of accessories. Heads, hands, weapons, even the roses. One side of the package, Terminator 2, Judgement Day. Other side, you can see the figure posed up. On the back, here's a figure. A ton of different accessories and different display options. Looks really cool. At the bottom, a bunch of credits. There's his barcode, if that helps anybody. So no further ado, let's open it up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out, and man, he comes with a lot of stuff. We have the display stand, a bandolier full of grenades, a pistol, 20 alternate hands, totaling 22 interchangeable hands, some with the glove on, some with the gloves off, 2 heads, a box full of roses, 2 different versions of the shotgun, grenade launcher, smoke grenade launcher, and then the minigun. This guy is decked out with accessories. But before I take a look at all those, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800 from Terminator 2 Judgement Day. He looks similar to his look in the first film. Of course, this robot is a good guy, kind of switching things up. This is a very, very successful movie, probably Arnold Schwarzenegger's most popular movie, and definitely the most popular Terminator movie out there. So let's take a look. So, starting with his face. Looks good. Of course, this one's covered with sunglasses. Hair looks about perfect. Sort of sticking up, slicked back. I'd say the lips, the nose, I definitely see Arnold in there. As we go further down, he has the gray t-shirt, the leather jacket, leather pants. He got this from the biker bar at the beginning of the film. Double jointed elbows. Looks like single jointed knees, but it could be double jointed inside of there. We'll get to that in just a little bit. As a whole, I think it looks pretty good. I don't know, I think that maybe the hair feels like it's a tiny bit too dark. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, it just seems just a tiny bit off. The sculpt definitely screams Schwarzenegger. We'll check out the unmasked head as we get to the accessories. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I'd say the sculpt and the frame of the face is all there. It looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And here's the figure broken down as far as it can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the display stand. Here's his display stand. It's a transparent flight stand. Comes with a bunch of different pieces. The main pieces you need to make it work are these 3 pieces. When put together, it's going to look like this. We have the large base here with 3 different slots to put the post into. Then we have the post here at the bottom. It can rotate. It's hinged. Hinged in the middle, hinged at the top, rotation at the top, and it has this clamp to hold your figure. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 22 of them, 11 left hands and 11 right hands. A lot of repeat hands, but a couple of them are slightly different. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. He has both the gloved and ungloved fists. And here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers. He has these both gloved and non-gloved. And then his next pair of hands, this is a pair of hands with the fingers completely extended, open hands. He has these, both gloved and ungloved. And now, his next pair of hands, this is a pair of regular hands, default hands. They would look good relaxed to the sides. He has these, both gloved and ungloved. And here's his last pair of gloved hands. Now this is a pair of gripping hands. Right hand is a regular gripping hand. Left hand has a thumbs up. Kind of like at the end of the film. And he has these ungloved hands, kind of like he's, I don't know, holding somebody or something. And then his other pair of unique ungloved hands. Left hand is a regular gripping hand. Right hand, he's pointing. Now let's look at his heads. He has 2 of them, one with the sunglasses, one without. Here he is with the first head. This one has the sunglasses on. And here he is with his second head. This has the sunglasses off. You can really see the likeness of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd say they did an excellent job. Here's this box of roses. It's a very cool, unique accessory. I mean, the accessory itself, it's kind of bland. It's just a box, and it has sort of a sticker of roses pretending like it's a window here. I wish it would actually open and have roses inside. Still, I can find this very useful. Think about Bruce Wayne taking this crime alley where his parents died, something like that. And all kind of cool dating and Valentine scenes. Here's the Terminator holding that box of roses under his arm. Fits perfect. Here's his pistol. It's a regular looking pistol. Sculpt very nice. Paint job also very nice. And here's the T-800 holding the pistol, pointing it right at you. You can hold it in a bunch of different poses. Looks good. Now for a shotgun. He has both the regular version and the kind that he's sort of in the middle of cranking. The shotgun itself looks pretty good. It's got sort of the wood here, barrel, handle. And now, holding the shotgun. And I guess you have him holding the other one like this, reloading it with one hand. He has this smoke grenade launcher that the SWAT team was firing tear gas with. You can see the barrel at the front. It has the big drum of grenades here. And it has no sort of butt of a grenade launcher. Looks a little stubby. Here's Arnold holding that tear gas launcher. Now we have this other grenade launcher and a bandolier full of grenades. It looks pretty good. It's from the end of the film. Sculpt is excellent on all these weapons. It has a little strap. Doesn't have a lot of give to it. Here's the Terminator holding that gun. He can also sort of holster the gun onto his shoulder. Now for his minigun. It's the iconic weapon that you sort of associate with Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator 2. Now, it's one solid piece, the gun, the bullets, and then this big sort of pouch. And you can see it doesn't have a lot of give to it. I mean, a little bit. So he's going to hold the minigun here. Then we have the barrel at the front. It looks pretty good. You can hold it here to support it. Bullets, all sculpted and painted pretty nicely. Then we go to the backpack here. Big strap for his shoulder as a whole. Looks pretty good, and I'm going to put this to a lot of use in my action figure world. Here's the T-800 holding the minigun. Now it looks okay from this pose, but this is about the only pose you can get with two hands. It's very disappointing. You really can't have this hand holding the top part properly because he's just lacking any sort of rotation here. He has minimal, this is sort of stretch hand. I mean, there it is, holding naturally. In addition to that, this hand here, it holds the gun like this, and it looks pretty good. I can get back on there. Got to really sort of stretch everything to capacity. The hand almost fell off. This is the second time I've done this. It's just not tight, very loose in there, and you just can't get the other hand over enough to support the top properly. The way I had it was sort of just stretching to capacity. Now, it looks good, but it's disappointing. Yeah, I can get it to stay in the hand like if I need to, but the fact that you can't have it in that iconic pose properly really sucks. It doesn't look nearly as good if he's simply holding it with one hand like this. Just saying. So, disappointing that he can't hold it properly without really stretching it, and it still doesn't look quite as good as it should. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 6.2 inches tall, which could translate to just under 16 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, you can rotate from side to side. He can look up a tiny bit, down a whole lot. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. He has articulation at the top of the neck and at the bottom of the neck, giving him very good range of motion. Shoulders go out about 90 degrees. Ball joints, up, down, around. He has these drop-down shoulders. They can look hideous, but just pop them back up. Now, what he really needs is some rotation here. That's a huge complaint I have with this and some Mafex figures. It just makes it so he can't hold the gun properly. Double jointed elbows. They go in about that far. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged as well. You can rotate the wrist peg and hinge it to the side or up and down. In his torso, he's got a ball joint. rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion, get more out of the waist and the torso on him. Legs, only got about this far. He has the drop down hips, they can look kind of bad. Pop them in, go forward about that much, back not much. Seems with the knee, but it goes back more than 90 degrees, pretty nice. And his ankle, forward and back, tilt rock a little bit, rotate, and of course, to articulation. Here's a look at a biker bar, bunch of people hanging out, playing pool. The T-800 just went back in time and spawned in the parking lot. Arnold's T-800 walks into the bar, pretend he's naked at this time. He says to the first guy that matches his physical description, "I need your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle." When he first comes in, they're all laughing at him, but when he leaves, the place is a wreck, everybody's fucked up, and he got what he came for. As he's leaving, big dude comes out of the bar and says, "Can't let you take the man's bike, son." Arnold walks right up to the big guy with the shotgun, slowly, very intimidating. He snatches a shotgun right out from his hands. He proceeds to walk up even closer, a lot of tension. Then he takes the guy's sunglasses out of his breast pocket. He puts on the sunglasses, gets on the bike, and then he leaves. Bad to the bone. And then here's Arnold, the T-800, driving through the city. He's trying to find John Connor, but he's not the only one. John Connor at the mall is where the police officer is after him. He's trying to escape, goes through the back room of the mall. There's a scared-looking guy with a box of roses coming at him from one direction. In the other direction, he has a police officer trying to catch him. There's a showdown between the two Terminators, the T-800 and the T-1000. Arnold's character is even protecting John Connor with his own body. Meanwhile, back on the city streets, the T-800 is trying to catch up with John Connor, trying to protect him. John Connor is being chased by this police officer in a semi-truck. And then, of course, Arnold's character comes out of nowhere to save John Connor. He lifts him right out of the dirt bike and puts him on his motorcycle just in the nick of time. Here's Arnold Schwarzenegger standing in front of his motorcycle, guns drawn and ready to go. Later in the film, Arnold and John Connor go to save his mother from the asylum. "Come with me if you want to live." Then, at the end of the film, they end up in the molten lead facility, end up killing both the T-1000 and the T-800. Although this version of the Terminator isn't quite appropriate for that scene, you need the battle damage version that Mafex is coming out with. Now let's check them out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger figures. Here's the Terminator 2 T-800, next to the Terminator 1 T-800. Both played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, but one is a good guy, one is a bad guy. And here he is, next to the NECA version of that T-800, Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator 2. These are based off the exact same look, the biker outfit. So which one do you guys think is better? Of course, they're different scales. Mafex is 6-inch scale, NECA is 7-inch scale. It's really looking at their faces. Now, they both look like Arnold, but they both look different. This guy has a sort of sculpted lines in his brow. I think the hair is a little bit more proper color for the film. I don't know, they both look good, but I feel like this looks more like Arnold from Terminator 1. I feel like the NECA one looks a little better. And then look at the jacket. The sculpting is so much smoother on the Mafex. It looks so much more realistic, textured, gritty on the NECA figure. I don't know. I give it up for NECA. Even though it's cheaper and it's older, I think the NECA one actually looks better. What do you guys think? Drop me a line in the comments below. I believe I felt the same way about the first film, Terminator. Now, if you want on 6-inch scale, this is the only way to go. But, as a whole, I'm going to have to give it up for NECA. Good job. So NECA made this Ultimate one in recent history on the right, but a long time ago they made this previous version with less articulation. Pretty much the same mold, just different legs. Both look pretty good, but I'd say the NECA Ultimate one is the way to go. And in case you were curious, here's the NECA Sarah Connor, John Connor, and T-1000 next to the Mafex Terminator. Scales are different, but he actually blends in better than I expected. Yeah, he should be shorter than T-1000, but it's not that far off. I mean, these aren't intended to be mixed together, but in case you're curious. Now let's check him out. Next is some other Arnold Schwarzenegger figures. Here he is, with the only other Mafex Arnold that I have. This is from Terminator 1. And here he is, with all the NECA Arnold Terminator figures from the first film. we have the original releases on the left and the ultimate releases on the right. Then, with my NECA Terminator 2 Arnold figures, the original on the left and the ultimates on the right. And now, with a couple of NECA Arnold Terminators from Terminator Genesis. Here he is with a couple of Arnold figures from Terminator Dark Fate. And here, next to a bunch of NECA Arnold Schwarzenegger figures from Predator. These are Dutch. Then, with a NECA Arnold figure from Commando. Now, with the McFarlane DC Multiverse, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin. And finally, next to a custom Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Governor, the Governator. This is a wrestling body with an older Arnold Schwarzenegger head. Here's my entire collection of Arnold Schwarzenegger action figures. We have some from Predator, Commando, Batman and Robin, and Terminator. There are plenty of Terminator figures I don't have with Arnold, but I have all the ones I really want. What other property do they make Arnold Schwarzenegger figures from? Drop me in the comments below. Nothing really comes to mind. Now let's check them out with some other Mafex figures. Here's Arnold, next to several regular looking Mafex figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex Batman figures. Then, with some more Mafex Batman supporting characters. And now, with some Mafex female Bat characters. And finally, next to some Mafex The Boys figures. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how it fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix them with. Since these are Mafex figure, they're typically the 6-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of these smaller action figure lines I collect, and work my way larger. We've already checked them out next to plenty of other Mafex figures, so let's check them out next to some other action figure lines. Here he is, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures, and some SH Figure Arts figures. And now, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends, and some Mattel DC figures. Here's the T-800, next to a bottle of A1 steak sauce. And here he is, next to some Mezco and NECA figures. Then, with both some Jazzwares and Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some DC Direct, and some McFarlane toys. And finally, with some DST or Diamond Select toys, and some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. So overall, it's a very nice Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator 2 figure, but the likeness is just a little off. It looks more like him from the first film than the second film, at least in my opinion. I'm surprised to say, I think the neck one is superior. I think the sculpt is better, the texturing on the suit, the extra little details. I think the likeness is better. This guy does have better articulation and a whole lot more accessories. If you want a 6-inch scale Terminator, this is the way to go. If you want the best Terminator out there, in my opinion, go with the NECA Ultimate. It's cheaper, it's bigger, things that appeal to me. I am curious what everyone else thinks. Some people are really going to think Mafex looks better, some people are really going to think NECA looks better. I held it in my hands and went with the NECA. Still, this is a very nice release. I hope they do more characters in the Terminator universe, but I don't think they will. Mafex typically picks one sort of star, puts it out, and calls it a day, moves on to the next thing. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, head to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.